happy today that Dr. Seema has arranged a very important lecture called Remote Sensing in Geosciences. So this lecture will be given by the Dr. Nisha Rani. She is presently the director of the Geological Survey of India in Telangana, and she did her BSc MSc from Banaras Hindu University, a very prestigious university. And our vice chancellor is also from the Banaras Hindu University, Rajkumar also. So we are very glad to see her. Someone from BHU is giving the lecture here also. So she did PhD in I think in Vellore Institute in Tamil Nadu, and she got many awards there, especially on the remote sensing and the geoscience techniques. So I will not take much of your time. I will give. I would like to request Dr. Seema to start the lecture. Please, Dr. Seema.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your kind words. So, sir has already given an overview, but before we start the lecture for the students, this lecture is specifically for the students, and you students won't believe, but Dr. Nisha is a very busy personality, and it is she agreed for the lecture only for the students. So I just thank her that madam you agreed for this, and just briefly I would like to highlight some more things. Of course I won't take much of the time. We'll quickly start with the lecture. So Dr. Nisha, as chairperson sir told, did her BSc MSc from BHU, very prestigious university, and PhD from VIT Vellore. And the most important thing is that she has almost 2 decades of work in the hyperspectral and multispectral remote sensing for mineral exploration. And this is a very applied aspect. It forms the backbone of all developing economies, these your minerals and mineral exploration and all those. And she has played a major role in establishing hyperspectral laboratory and dark room for image processing and generation of spectral signature of rocks and minerals at this lab RSAS Bangalore. And during that time, an MOU between GSI NRSC and GSI NRScan for that is Canada for microwave remote sensing has been established. Now she has more than 13 different projects of GSI, mainly related to hyperspectral, multispectral, and integration of mineral investigations. Dr. Nisha has largely worked in Eastern and Western Dhawar, Creton, and Delhi Supergroup. During her FSP work, she has identified several potential areas for mineral exploration near Hiriyur, Karnataka, of WDC, Ajmer, Bhilwara, and Bewar areas of South Delhi fold. Now, the most important thing, which is, I believe, is an honor for us that we are hosting a women scientist. Actually, she is the first women geoscientist selected as faculty at the post of director in the Geological Survey of India Training Institute. So, and she has conducted more than 30 training programs, not only at national level, but at international level also. There and in both offline and online mode, more than 5,000 participants benefited. Now, of course, she has national and international publications also, book chapters also. So I won't go into those details. And you people, you students, have the best opportunity to clear your doubts on the basics of remote sensing. And she is the only expertise in India, and she in very recently in 2021 she received letter of appreciation from Ministry of Defense for conducting training on multispectral and hyperspectral remote sensing. So I welcome you, madam. Of course, you have long list of awards and recognition. So, but I believe the students here are interested in getting more and more knowledge and information from your expertise. and I welcome my students are very intelligent and talented. So I believe not only during this lecture, or we can take the queries after the lecture, but through email and further contact also will be established so that they can be benefited in future. Welcome you, madam.
Uh, Very good morning to all, and thank you very much, Dr. Seema, and for inviting me for this lecture. I am very thankful to Dr. Uh, Rajkumar sir, Vice Chancellor, and Professor Anshu Khosla for giving me this opportunity to deliver a talk on remote sensing. And I do hope that our students and participants, whoever is here, they will be benefited by my lectures. So once again, Dr. Seema, for inviting me for this lecture series. So
Thank you,
shall I
madam
start?
Aruni.
Shall I start?
Yes, Akshay. Okay.
So my PPT is visible to all. I'm audible also, right? So, as already Dr. Seema has said that my topic is remote sensing techniques in geosciences, and since a long time I'm working in the same field, I felt that our geosciences community mostly they are not knowing how to utilize this remote sensing technique. Traditionally, we are very sound, very good in that, but how we can utilize such kind of tools for our work, we do not know actually, and how we are using in our daily life also we do not know actually. So before starting my lecture, I would like to just tell about my organization because many of you might be interested also in a future or present time also to attend some training programs or some field experience if you want to do. You are always welcome. So as you know that our organization is the oldest, second oldest survey organization actually, and it was established in 1851. So you can just imagine 172 years old legacy we have, and since so many years we are working for the nation building, and we are working not only for the ground surveys for mineral exploration, but also we are working for the airborne surveys. We have marine surveys, especially and exclusively for east coast and west coast. We have the marine surveys. We have glaciology divisions, especially we are working on the glaciology, and we have research team for the Antarctica and Arctic, and they are very dedicated team, especially because visiting Antarctica and Arctic is it is like you should have the idea, or you should have that much of strength mentally and physically. You should be very strong to conduct such kind of research in Antarctica and Arctic. Other than that, in a like public good sciences like geohazard and your geotechnical and geoenvironmental studies we are doing. So since long time we are contributing to the nation not only for the mineral investigation, geological hazard, but also for the daily routine life like that not happened. We are there to study those things, landslide studies we are doing. So accordingly, GSI is having four missions actually, five missions actually we can say, and mission 1, mission 2, mission 3, and mission 4 and mission 5. So all missions are having different work and role and responsibility. Like mission 1 is having baseline geosciences and data collection. Mission 2, natural resource assessment we are doing, and mission 3 basically we are data storage and saving, and data maintenance is basically mission 3 we are doing. Mission 4 multidisciplinary like petrology, paleontology, yes, sorry, no, slides are not moving actually. Or just a minute. Let me. It is moving now. Moving.
फिर से शेयर करें या तो कुछ
Just a minute. I'll stop.
now it is now it.
But it is in a not a slide mode. It is for you in a slide mode.
ठीक है, ऐसे ठीक है, बस वो मे भी बीच में कुछ एरर हो गया हो, है ना? अब मूव हो रहा है
Now
ना?
it is moving.
दिख रहा है
Just
सबको?
can you confirm it is moving now? No. Let me
एक आगे या
one thing.
पीछे जाओ.
I'll do one thing. I'll share once again. Okay.
हाँ हाँ. प्रेजेंट नाउ में विंडो आएगा ना?
As a presenter, I have to show.
हाँ हाँ, अब आप एक मूव करके दिखाइए.
Just a minute. There are two options actually. Entire. Okay, window. Let me see.
Akshay, which will be the best option? शेयर या विंडो ना, एंटायर में आपका बाकी भी सारा स्क्रीन शेयर हो जाएगा.
So now you can see it changing or not?
अब आप नेक्स्ट जरा करके दिखाइए निशा.
I have changed it. Just see it. It is changing or not? No?
I think at the sidebar you have. हाँ, it is changing now.
So you are not seeing my sidebar, only PPT you are seeing?
We are seeing and it has changed now. अब बदल गया है. हाँ, अब चेंज हो रहा है.
एक्चुअली अगर इसमें रखेंगे तो मुझे और स्लाइड्स में कुछ और चीजें वो दिखाई नहीं देगी आपको ना, इसलिए ये स्लाइड मोड में नहीं है. No, for me it is a problem na. Because many things are there in animation mode, so it will not show it in a PPT mode, so it will not show it. So I'll just check once for window also. Okay.
ठीक.
It should change, right? Why it is not changing? Acha, this is totally a screen it is showing, and if I'm showing this window, then it is going to show it. There is some issues. One thing I'll do.
अपने साइड वाली ओपन करके उसमें से बता सकती हैं डॉक्टर निशा. ये मूव होता रहेगा. आप इसको मिनिमाइज करके अपनी साइड वाली ओपन करके विंडो उसमें से बता सकती हैं. ये हमारे यहाँ से नहीं हटेगा. It will be the same screen which will remain this way.
Actually, Dr. Seema, what I did, there are some animations.
Oh, I got it. ठीक है, समझ गए. हाँ, एनिमेशंस इस मोड में नहीं आती है. मैं भी पढ़ाते हुए मैंने भी ध्यान दिया है. फिर क्या ऑप्शन होता है अक्षय? कुछ है आइडिया?
Okay, fine. So now you are saying, right? Fine. Na? So as I was telling, there are 4 missions, and we all the missions are having some different responsibilities and work. So mission 4 is basically multidisciplinary, like petrology, lab work, chemical analysis, or paleontology, landslide study. These all are the part of our mission 4. And mission 5 is exclusively for the training and capacity building, because as a geoscientific organization, we are contributing to the nation for the human resource development and for the search of new areas for the mineral exploration point of view also. So exclusively, you can see that training capacity building is a must for any organization. So we are not only giving the training to our own organization, but also we are giving to the national participants, international participants, our stakeholders, our faculty members. So many people we are giving time to time lectures and trainings to at different occasions. So as we are very huge organization, you can see. So we are basically under Ministry of Mines, and our headquarters is in Kolkata. And we have main regional offices in all 6 offices, you can see, like Nagpur, Kolkata, Shillong, Lucknow, Hyderabad, and Jaipur. And almost every state is having one office, other than what I'm saying here, are regional 6 offices. Other than that, also you can see we have so many offices all over the India. And you can see it here. It is our training institute, as I told you. It is exclusively for the training purpose. So it was established in 1976. Earlier, it was headquarters was in Raipur. Now it is in Hyderabad. That was shifted in 1978. and our headquarters is in Hyderabad. So in Hyderabad, our campus, you can see. I do hope you are able to see the animation, right? So this is our campus entirely. You can see under totally reserve forest area is there, and under that we are there. And I'm sitting here actually. You can see it if you are able to see the cursor. I'm sitting here. So our campus is fully it is residential. If you want to come, you can come. These are our hostel buildings, our mess, our playground. Everything is available. If you are interested, you can join us. And our this is the main building. How our campus looks actually. So very beautiful and lush of greeneries are there. So you can, if you get the chance, and if you're interested to attend any training program, you are most welcome to our campus. And other than that also, like not only it's a PGRS only we are doing, we have different specialized divisions like CGMT, we have Center for Geoinformatics Management, we are doing petrology, we are giving the specially training for the petrology, geophysics division is there, chemistry is there, and yes, other than these divisions, photogeology and remote sensing, where I'm sitting, is there. So very exclusive trainings we are giving here. Other than that, we have different FTCs and RTDs for field oriented training. If you are interested how to do field work and all sample collection and all, so we have the training institutes like in Chittadurga, Karnataka, Raipur, Nagpur, Eastern region, our Hyderabad. And even in a northeastern region also. So many offices are there, and training institutes are there, and you can join and you can attend the training programs if you are interested. Even you can send a request also. So time to time we are
These
conducting.
are all with some basic fees or some concessions for students.
Actually,
Or
first
we
are
need
having
to search on web page for further details.
Yes. I'll just show you. After that, I will get the answer actually. So
Oh,
time to time, we are giving the training programs like for the state and the central government. So we are conducting training programs. Any faculty is interested, they can attend like remote sensing and digital image processing techniques, or multispectral, hyperspectral, and application of remote sensing in disaster mitigation. If anyone is there for the faculty, these are open actually, not for the student, and especially for the research scholars with the MOU with the ISRO. We have two exclusive programs. Twice in a year, we are conducting these programs for research scholars and faculty members other than GSI. This is exclusively for the outsiders only who are not belonging to the GSI. So yearly for 1 month training is there for the remote sensing and GIS in mineral exploration. For 1 month training program is there. An application of geoinformatics for disaster management is also for the research scholar and faculty members. So anyone is there, they can attend this training program. Recently, we have conducted this geoinformatics program. 13th it was over. So next is scheduled in a January month. This remote sensing and GIS in mineral exploration. So research scholars and our faculty members can apply for that, and this is free of cost actually training program. We are not asking any money. In fact, some fellowship is involved in that. So whoever is not drawing any salary or not getting any fund, so they are eligible for such kind of fellowship. So any student is interested, they can come and join us. So I hope my PPT is changing, right?
अभी नहीं हो रही फिर से.
अभी हो रहा
अब
है?
हो गई हाँ.
So, free of cost training is also available. Recorded trainings are available in our TI website. So, if any student, researcher, scholar, there is no foundation like it is exclusively for the researcher, scholar, or teachers. Anyone can join it. This is the website address, and we have two training programs: Basics of Remote Sensing. There are 10 lecture series, and Application of Remote Sensing in Mineral Explosion. There is 5 lectures. So you can see it here. It's a certified also. Certificates you are going to take after successfully completing the course. You are going to get the this, what you can say, certificate. And total duration for completing one course is 30 days. So within 30 days you have the time, you can complete it, and you there are some multiple questions are there, so you have to attempt it. If you are successfully doing it, then definitely you are going to get the certificate. If you are blocked sometimes because of the wrong answers, so you can write and course coordinator, like I'm the course coordinator, so that mail is coming to me. I'm unblocking the participant. So as on date, you can see number of participants who are joined in our online lectures. You can see it here, basics of remote sensing, more than 1500. And for the application of remote sensing in mineral exploration, 1300, more than 1300 participants are registered. So other than that, if anything is there, you can write to our DDG mission head 5, and direct for related to PGRS training if you require. So you can contact director PGRS. So these are the mail IDs. You can join us. You can write us. Okay. So these are the activities. As I told you, we are having so many things, like we are conducting national, international training programs. So we have, like, we have the aerial photographs, we have satellite imagery like this, we have digital image processing technique lab totally, and we are conducting national, international training programs, and we are having all the facilities like softwares, ADAS, ArcGIS, NV softwares, and high-end computers are available. So any one of you are interested, you can join us and you can attend our training program. So I'll come to the remote sensing techniques actually. So what is remote sensing? Once you are saying remote sensing is a technique, of getting the information about any object. Any object means what? Object on the earth surface or on other planet. And here, once we are talking about the remote sensing, means it's a science of acquiring, processing, interpreting images and related data, which is acquired from the aircraft or satellite, and that requires the interaction between matter and electromagnetic energy. So whenever we are talking about the remote sensing technique, here two things are there: interaction between the matter and electromagnetic energy. So electromagnetic energy is very important. Until unless you have that remote sensing is not possible actually. So basically what we are doing, we are trying to get the information about any object on the earth's surface, without coming into the physical contact of that particular object. So that is your remote sensing. So remote sensing involves so many things actually. As I told you, that electromagnetic radiation is important. So the source of electromagnetic energy or radiation is basically our sun. Illumination, source of energy or illumination is sun. And as I told you, uh, interaction with the matter. So matter will be on the earth surface. So between sun and earth, there is one atmosphere also. So in atmosphere, there will be radiation also. So radiation and atmosphere will also. And once the energy is reaching on the surface, so interaction with the target is also important. So once it is reaching on the surface, it will interact with the object, and whatever light is reflected from the surface of the object, that is going to be recorded by the sensor, and this sensor is going to record it, and this will be transmitted or it will be sent to the station. Like such kind of stations are there, and that is receiving the signals which is recorded here, and then image processing or image generation will be done. And after that, what we are doing exactly, we are using as per our requirement. Like I'm interested for the mineral exploration, you might be interested for some disaster studies, or somebody may be interested for the environmental studies. So that depends to where you want and how you are going to use it. So next is, electromagnetic energy. So we know that all the objects above temperatures all the objects at the temperature above degree Kelvin, 0 Kelvin, basically it is emitting some energy, and that is electromagnetic energy. And once we are talking about electromagnetic radiation or energy, so there is one range actually, from gamma to X-ray, X-ray to your ultraviolet, violet, and visible to your radio waves and radio waves. So once we are talking about entire spectrum, from gamma to radio waves, that is your spectrum. And in that spectrum only we are doing the remote sensing. So I'll show certain things where we are doing the remote sensing. So you can see the entire spectrum is here, and in that also, these are the reasons where we are able to do the remote sensing. Like ultraviolet is there, and your visible, whatever color concept we have, human eyes have. So because of this reason only, so that is having some range like 400 to 700 nanometer. Other than that, infrared vision is there and microwave vision is there. So these are the reasons where we are able to do the remote sensing, and these are the range actually. So thermal is also there, microwave is there, infrared is there. So these are the only reasons we can do the remote sensing. So remote sensing, once we are talking, so based on the altitude, at what altitude remote sensing is being done, or or based on the platforms, we have different platforms also. We are giving different names actually. So ground based remote sensing is there, or airborne is there, or spaceborne is there. Once on a ground we are doing something like up to 150-meter, so it is ground based remote sensing. And if it is like up to 10 kilometer, 10 to 12 kilometer is there, so that is your aerial or airborne platform. And if you're going more than 200 kilometers, then it is a spaceport. So normally there are three types of platforms, because sensor, we are talking about a sensor, so there should be some platform which is carrying the sensor in a space or at certain altitude. So based on that, ground based platforms or airborne platform or spaceborne platform is there. Okay, so accordingly, you can see it here how ground-based platforms are there. You can see it here, like here, these are the handheld or ground-based your spectral radiometer or something like platforms are there. Earlier days, balloon or pigeon or aircraft, it was used as airborne remote sensing, and spaceborne means it is launched to the space. And nowadays, whatever drone technology we are seeing, that is also part of our airborne only. So especially remote sensing is of two types actually, we can say active remote sensing and passive remote sensing. See what is happening, as I told you, source of energy is our sun. But what about if we are interested to see the natural phenomena? Because if anything is happening on the surface of the earth, it is not like a morning to evening it will happen. It can happen anytime. It can happen anytime, morning or night, or during the cloudy season, or if it's a heavily raining also, it can happen. So there are two types of remote sensing: active remote sensing and passive remote sensing. So you can see it here. If it's a passive remote sensing, means your source of energy or illumination is sun. So that is your passive remote sensing. And in that case, what is happening? Please mute yourself. It is disturbing.
Please mute yourself, all others. We have some disturbance. Okay.
So thank you. So passive remote sensing means when your source of energy is sun, and it can be done only during the daytime. It should be cloud free. It should be means there should be not rainy day. So that time only you can do, and you can sit here like your source of energy is uh, sun. So signal is sending to the surface, and whatever light is reflected from the surface of the earth, that is basically recorded by the sensor. Or here we have the sensor, and whatever sensor is your energy is recorded here, or signal is recorded, that will be transmitted to the ground station. So I don't know you have seen some ground station or not, but ground station looks like this. You can see it here. Probably you have seen it, but you have not noticed it how it looks actually. So you can see it here, and how it looks. This is your basically or sensor, or it's a satellite which is receiving the signal from the sensor, and this is the station where data is basically recorded, and satellite image is basically being generated. And other than that, other remote sensing is your active remote sensing. What is happening, as I told, morning to evening is fine, but what about in the night time, or during cloudy season, or during your rainy season? How will you do the remote sensing? In that case, what is happening? Our sensor is designed like that. It is having the both the things, like it is going to send the signal, or it is going to send the energy on the surface, and at the same time that is going to record the energy. So you can see it here, a signal is sent on the surface, and whatever light or whatever signal is reflected from the surface of this, it is basically recorded, and the same thing will happen here. It is going to be processed, and data will be generated. So advantage with the active remote sensing is that there is no restrictions. It can be done anytime, any day. It's full of cloud, full of rain, or day or night, it doesn't matter. So that is the advantage with the active remote sensing. another important thing is, orbit of satellite. Here what we are seeing, ground-based remote sensing, aerial remote sensing, and spaceborne. Once we are talking about the spaceborne, then there is orbit of the satellite. Satellite, you might have heard about the satellite. Recently also there was some satellite launched by the ISRO, and it was placed in some other orbit, because what was calculated, it was not placed in that. By some mistake was happened, and because of that it was done, it has gone to some other orbit. Because one satellite is being launched, before that it is calculated where it is going to be settle or where it is going to place. So this orbit is very important actually. So orbit means the path which is followed by the satellite around the earth, that is your orbit. And the time which is taken by the satellite to complete one circle around the earth, that is the orbital period. So you can see it here how it looks actually. Our satellite is passing through the earth, so you can see it north to south or south to north, it is going like this. Your satellite is passing through the earth, and here you can see this is your ground trace, because on the surface it is getting the data, and it's an orbit because it is taking one path, that is your orbit. So on the basis of path followed by the satellite or sensor, there are two types of orbit actually. One is your geosynchronous, another is uh, so one is your geosynchronous and another is your polar or near polar. So geosynchronous, sometimes known as geostationary orbit, and polar or near polar, sometimes known as sun synchronous. So there are two types of orbit. Geosynchronous means synchronized with the rotation of the Earth. You know, whatever speed of the Earth is there, the same speed will be fixed for the satellite also. So it seems that it's a synchronized with the your your Earth. And stationary because both our earth and our satellite is moving with the same speed, so it seems that it is stationary, that's why it's geostationary. And maximum time what is happening for the geosynchronous orbit, that satellite is placed at the altitude of more than 36,000 kilometers, and very useful for the weather monitoring, communication purpose, whatever satellite using, that is basically geosynchronous or geostationary. And polar and near polar means because north south pole we have. So if it's a place north or south, that is your polar or near polar. And near polar because not exactly it's north south, it's a slightly inclined, so near polar. And since sun synchronous means it's synchronized with the local time. Like if one satellite is passing through Hyderabad city at 10 a.m. In the morning today, so next time when completing its orbital period, when next time it is reaching to Hyderabad, it is going to reach at 10 a.m. only. So that is synchronized with the local time. That's why polar, near polar, or your sun synchronicity is known. And altitude you can see more than 700 kilometers. So you can see it here how near polar basically works. So it is rotating around the Earth in a north south, south to north direction. I hope it is visible to everyone, right? I'm audible.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's a rotating, right? You can see
Students,
it.
no, that we can't see the rotation. I think animation is not, but otherwise it would have been more interesting.
Oh yes, because of that is for the student only. I especially made it. Okay, fine.
So, any of you among the students, is it visible, the rotating one?
No, madam.
No,
The rotating
ma'am.
is not visible.
This would have been really interesting for them, but
Uh,
yes, we are missing that.
so I'm disappointed actually. For students especially, I have made it so that they can see it. Okay, fine. Probably some
But you
Google.
are explaining so well, so I think they are imagining, and I think they are getting the point.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
hopefully, I hope so.
Yes, ma'am.
So, okay, thank you very much. So we'll go to the next. Okay, so geostationary, you can see if you are able to see, this is our Earth, and parallel to equator you can see, and like this or rotating around the Earth. It is east west or west to east. It is rotating actually. So it is your geostationary orbit, or you can see it here. So here also different names are given. Geostationary orbit, low Earth orbit, like this one is a low orbit, near to Earth, low orbit orbit is there, low Earth orbit is there, and if you see the Earth yellow color line, so it's a medium Earth orbit. So it is also decided at what altitude what nomenclature is given. So different names are given. So it's a geostationary. As I told you, it's a rotation speed is same like Earth. So it says it's like a stationary or geosynchronous, and it is very useful, very much useful for the communication and weather monitoring purpose. So whatever weather communication we are getting, everyday updates or every early updates we are getting because of these satellites only or these sensors only. So nowadays you can see, because once sensor is launched or satellite is launched in our orbit around the Earth, so how it looks actually. So as on date, how our Earth is visible from the other space or other location. So you can see around the Earth, because we have the option to launch the or your sensor or satellite, but we don't have option to bring it back. So after 4 or 5 years or 6 years or 10 years, that satellite is stopped working. So it is moving around the Earth. So as on date, you can see all the debris or all the junk satellites are moving around the Earth. So you can see it's a serious problem. It's a serious problem if tomorrow two different satellites, if somehow it is collapsed or something happened, so it's a real problem for us. So I think our scientists are thinking about that, how we can remove such kind of things or how we can bring it back. Because you can see today if it's a situation, so tomorrow it is going to be a very serious issue for us. So hopefully in future we'll get the solution for bringing this space debris to uh, Earth, it's back to the Earth, and see different remote sensing data satellites are there. Once we are in initial stage of the remote sensing, we used to have this aerial photograph, because it's what collected or it was generated from the aerial platform. Means your aircraft or helicopter we used to use, and some camera was fixed, and we used to take the photograph from the certain altitude. So like this, we used to get the uh, aerial photographs. So like this we used to interpret, we have this stereoscope, and through this we are seeing it. And if you are coming to our headquarter also, you are going to experience such kind of things, because until unless you are seeing this, you cannot appreciate this one satellite imagery, and you cannot understand the difference in satellite or digital data actually, why this digital data is important. So from gray aerial photographs to satellite, we have gone more than one band was there. So at least we were able to see some colored images in a hard copy, but the scale and everything was fixed. So whatever was given to us, we were able to interpret the data, but we can't change the band combination, other things. Nowadays we have digital data. So digital data means we can see, we can interpret, we can do many things with the digital data actually. N number of processing we can do, or n number of information we can draw by single image or single satellite imagery actually. And that is the advantage with the remote sensing data. Earlier days, there was restrictions, because gray shades hardly 4, 5, 6, or 10 maximum you can differentiate. So there was restriction, and with the satellite imagery like this, color only fixed color was there. So you have to interpret whatever the information you can see, and how you are able to see the information from the satellite imagery. That was also one challenging thing. So there was restriction, but nowadays, because of the high-end computer softwares and digital data, we are able to process n number of times, and we are getting maximum information. So our life is better than earlier days. And see, and there are different types of remote sensing also, like aerial photograph, single band image, only one band. With the advancement in the remote sensing technique, so more than one band we were able to generate. So that is your multispectral remote sensing, but less than 100 bands. So that was multispectral. Then hyperspectral has come into the picture. So if more than 100 bands are there, so that is your hyper spectral, means too many bands. And thermal bands or thermal remote sensing is also very important, and especially thermal concept is totally different, but we don't have thermal data actually. We have the bands only in a multispectral remote sensing. So certain bands are there in a multispectral data, like your Averis or your your extra data or Landsat data or resource set. So if you have some band in that, so you are going to consider thermal band. And microwave remote sensing, like ALOS pulsar, DEM data, LiDAR technology, radar set, all those things are an example of your microwave remote sensing. Microwave remote sensing, like radar technology we are using for our flight taking and for landing and takeoff time. We are using this time, and not only that, where our flight is there, so how we are monitoring direction and other things because of the radar technology only, and our ships in the ocean, how we are monitoring because of this technique only. So since long time we are utilizing this remote sensing technique even our daily life, and even we do not know actually. So it is very useful. Thermal remote sensing is also very useful. Hyperspectral is important for the mineral exploration point of view. Multispectral is having so many applications we are utilizing. So whenever we are talking about the remote sensing, see, four things are very important because we have different applications. We are going on a different aspect. As I told you, I'm interested for the mineral exploration. Some may be interested for the land use, land cover map. Like they want to map, prepare some land. Somebody is interested for the landslide studies. So there are four important parameters which are deciding the capability of any remote sensing data. One is spatial, means pixel size, how much area in a pixel you are able to see, 30 meter, 10 meter, 20 meter. Accordingly, you are going to see the detailed information. So if I'm interested to map entire India, so I'll go for the 20 meter pixel size or 30 meter or 50 meter, it doesn't matter. Even kilometer also, that is not the problem. But if I'm interested for a very small area, for a mineral exploration point of view, so I'll prefer for the 5 meter or 6 meters or 1 meter data if available, pixel size. So like here you can see one is having the 30 meter resolution, one is having 75 point meters. So this is better, for each and every detail we are able to see. It's like, you are mapping some area, a 1 kilometer area you are mapping, and what interval you have given, like 1 kilometer you have given 100 meters interval or 50 meters interval you have given. So if you are giving 50 meter interval, so you're getting more details. If you are giving 100 meter or 200 meter details, so most probably there are certain things you are going to miss. Same thing is here also. So pixel size, high resolution means your more details, and low resolution means you are not able to see all the details. So here it is very clear. It's a high resolution data. 7.5 is the high resolution data, spatial resolution, and this is a low resolution data. Spectral means here wavelength range. As I told you, we have visible, we have short wave infrared, infrared region, or microwave region. So how many bands are there and their bandwidth, how closely they are spaced, that is very important. It is like you are drawing one graph. So how many intervals you are giving, or you are just drawing one single line. So if you are drawing one single line, again you are going to miss many things. But if you are giving so many intervals, so you are going to get the maximum information. So here you just see for the visible range, what is happening. 400 to 700 nanometer is the range. So all blue, green, red, all colors are here. So only one band. So we are going to miss the uh, minor details. But if we are dividing all the details like here, blue, green, red, so we are going to get maximum information here. So that is your spectral resolution. And temporal means how frequently your data is captured, or the same location at what after how many days your sensor is visiting. That is important. So suppose your sensor is visiting this location today, so it is next visiting in the next 24 hours, or after 10 days, or after 15 days. That depends. So that is your temporal resolution. So revisit period of a sensor at a particular location is your temporal resolution. And radiometric resolution means what? Means your sensor is able to differentiate in a minor changes or not. That is your radiometric resolution. You can see it here. It's a blue shade is given, but for if you see up this, probably we are going to say it's a blue only, because we are not that much of sensitive. But if somebody is sensitive, they can differentiate. It's a deep blue, it's slightly light blue, or some, they are going to differentiate different shades. So if you are able to differentiate, or your sensor is able to differentiate if a minor change is there, like here it's a minor change only, these two shades. So if you are able, or your sensor is able to differentiate that minor change or not, that is important. So that is your radiometric resolution. So these four things are very important when you are deciding your data. So whatever work is assigned to you, or whatever work you are doing, as per your requirement, you have to select the data also. If very high radiometric resolution data you are selecting, and you are working for the very large area, like for entire country, So probably it is not going to help you because it is going to give more information for your area. So compilation of that data is really headache for you. But if you are working for a small area for some 700 square kilometer or 200 square kilometer area, so very high radiometric resolution is very important because slightly, if slight changes are there, if you want to see those things, so this radiometric resolution is very important for you. So, what is the advantage or disadvantage with the remote sensing? Because it's a tool and everybody should use it because it's a tool, it is going to help you a lot. So, basically, like we are working in a certain area, so it is having the advantage like it is covering large area, means it is giving the synoptic view of a large area. Regional scale you can see in a single scene. It is very cost effective nowadays. Maximum satellite images are free of cost until unless you are going for the very high end high resolution data, so you have to pay. Otherwise maximum is available for the public domain. And time efficient, because time efficient means before going to your field or before going to your location, you are going to save your time, how you can approach, where you have to approach, what are the areas which are of your interest. So you can save your time. Multi-temporal means different time data sets you have, so you can utilize multi-sensor like ESTER, you have ESTER, you have Hyperion, you have IRS, our Indian remote sensing satellite data sets are there. So many sensors data are available, so you can utilize those things also. Multi-spectrum means many bands are there. Like ESTER is having 14 bands, IRS is having 3 or 4 bands, and some like Averis is having more than 400 bands. So multispectral bands are there, so you can utilize it. And not only that, you can reach to the inaccessible areas. Like here I'm sitting, but I can reach to the Himalayan region, I can reach the surface of the ocean, I can reach to the Pakistan also, some other countries also, because even though I'm not allowed to reach there physically, but through remote sensing data, I can reach to those areas which are not allowed, and that is not possible to reach for me. Even in a dense forest area, in a hilly terrain, I can reach through the remote sensing data because that remote sensing is giving you that option. And every remote sensing data is having that geocoded, like geographic latitude longitude is given. Once latitude longitude is given to you, so you know that where this data is belonging. Actually it is from the India, some other countries, or some other part of the world. So by knowing this latitude longitude, you can know the location of that. And if it is having the latitude longitude, so you can prepare the map also, because it's a GIS ready. uh, Georeference data is that. Okay, so you can take the information directly to the GIS software, and you can prepare the maps and everything. Disadvantage is what mostly it requires experience personal. If you don't have idea about the remote sensing, so you're going to misinterpret. Like as I told you, whatever light is reflected from the surface of the earth is basically recorded by the sensor, and on that basis only you are recording that this is water, this is vegetation, this is something else. Okay, suppose two different materials are sending the signal, like same amount of light they are reflecting. So for sensor, it is amount of light only. It is not like it is differentiating it's a water or vegetation. It is me and you who are differentiating it. Okay. So there are chances on the basis of on the value you are going to mark it a single same data. But fact is that both are different data sets. Take care. So if you don't have idea, that mistake is very common. And it is very expensive affair, once it is required for a small area, because high resolution data are very costly. If you want to map 1 meter by 1 meter area through remote sensing data, so very high resolution data sets are very costly actually. And yes, software is also very costly. Whatever remote sensing, you're going to get the GIS data free of cost everywhere, but software for the image processing is very difficult to get, like ADAS, NV, or some like if you are using for the microwave remote sensing also. These softwares are very costly actually, and it is not means available for everyone. And not only that, see, another disadvantage is that if somebody says ki on the basis of remote sensing 100% correct information they are getting, so we should avoid that. 75% is okay, but for 25%, you have to go for the field verification. Until unless you are going to, especially for the geosciences application, I'm telling, because many things are there, many factors are there. So 25% you have to verify your data. Otherwise, anybody can ask how, what is the criteria? Because as I told you, two different objects can give the same reflectives. So there are chances that you are going to misinterpret. And sometimes like linear features and other things, people are confused, they are marking something. So that is going to give you a wrong information about the object. I do hope I am audible to everyone.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Good, good.
I hope you're not feeling bored actually. Okay. So next is application part.
बताओ
See,
भाई students.
because continuously if I'm speaking, probably you are sleeping.
ठीक है. बोर तो नहीं कर रहे मैम?
No, not at
No,
all.
ma'am.
Okay. So because I'm not able to see anybody's face, so there are chances they are sleeping. So fine.
At the end, we'll put the video because I think in between to run it smoothly, I think they have just mute कर रखा है और अपना video off कर रखा है इन्होंने.
No problem, because so next is your application. See, as I told you, remote sensing we are using since long time, but we do not have idea that we are using remote sensing. So it is application in the geosciences. I'll discuss about the geosciences. Whatever meteorological informations we are getting, as I told you, geostationary sensors are basically used for the meteorological and communication purpose. So meteorological studies we are doing, forestry, agriculture, mining and urban planning, extraplanetary, multidisciplinary services, disaster management, defense, coastal hydrology. So many applications are there. And I'll just go one by one. If you are using in the geosciences, so basically how we are contributing. See, as a geologist, my part is to identify certain areas or potential areas which are important for the mineral exploration. So once we are talking about the mineral exploration, so there are certain things which are important for hosting the minerals. So one is the lithology, second is the structure, third is your alteration, and fifth is your fourth is your geomorphological features. If it's a primary kind of mineralization, and probably you might be knowing also, your primary and secondary type of mineralizations are there. Primary is basically hosted by the lithology, alterations, or structural parameters, or if it's a secondary type of things, so geomorphological features you have to focus. So through remote sensing data, you're going to identify these things, lithology, structure, or alterations, or geomorphological features. If you're studying for the geohazard or disaster management type of studies, so landslide studies can be done, seismic hazard zonation mapping can be done, or coastal studies or glacial mapping, forest fire. So many things are there where this remote sensing is useful in a geosciences. So I'll just show some examples which I have done for my studies. So just see it. Lithological mapping as a part of GSI. We know that geological mapping has been done by GSI. All India is covered already. 50,000 scale map is generated. Even though so many things are there, so many informations you are going to get through the remote sensing data. And as I told you, certain mineralizations or minerals are preferring certain lithology. Like in Karnataka, gold is basically hosted by the metabasalt and carbonate and quartz veins. So and BIF. So if some area is important for you and hosting, like here, Ajanahalli is the area which is known for the gold mineralization. So nearby area is also there. It's a metabasalt. So here, what our GSI geological map, you can see it here how this is. So extension you can see, and this south part also width is more. Here it is very thin. Till band you can see it here. So these are the additional informations which you're going to get through the remote sensing data. Not only that, very nicely each and everything has come in. You can mark the boundaries, you can see the extension of a particular rock, or you can see the availability of exposures in your area. So many things you can identify by using remote sensing technique. So you just see it here. You can compare. It's a geological map of the area, and this is a satellite imagery of the same area. So these are the very useful informations through which or lithological mapping you can do by using remote sensing technique. Next is your, like, here's some lithological mapping. You can see it here. It's for Ramgirish built only. It's a geological map of our GSI itself again. So many variations you can see. If we here change of color is there, you can see it here. Here one boundary I can demarcate. One boundary I can demarcate here. So these are the informations you are going to use for your work actually. Not only that, if it's, you can see it here. Here something is there. Similarly, this line you can demarcate, and here it is very prominent. So different band combinations you can use in a remote sensing data, and you can get maximum information on the lithology using your remote sensing techniques. Here structural mapping, you see structure is very important for relation point of view, because uh, mapping structures in a field is very challenging task. It is going to take a lots of time for you, probably years and years. But through remote sensing data, you can mark the structures very easily. And because why we are behind the structures? Because once it's a structure and very long structure is there, it's a deep rooted. If it's a deep rooted, so there are chances that hydrothermal solutions can come on the surface through that weaker plane. And if hydrothermal solutions are coming through that on the surface, there are chances that certain kind of relation can be associated with that. So that's why, and more fractures or more structures are there, then density is more, but there are chances that you are going to get the certain kind of mutation. That's why we are focusing on the structures. So through remote sensing data, like here, fault, you can see the shifting and all. But if you're standing here, to establish that you have to walk like this. So it's almost it's in a kilometer. It seems like it's a line, one line only have marked, but it is not a line. It is in a kilometer. So you have to walk to establish that it's a fault. But here we can see that it's a shifting. There is displacement in a same rock type. Similarly, you can see the density of lineaments. So many lineaments you can demarcate using remote sensing data itself. Here you can see linear features. Here very sharp. These are the quartz veins actually, and these are the dikes, black color lines, whatever you are seeing. And this is a DEM data actually. So linear features you can see and you can demarcate using this. So structural mapping you can utilize. You can do by remote sensing. Here also, so many lineaments are there. As I told you, weaker. These are the weaker zones actually, where some kind of relation can be there. So these are the potential areas for us. Similarly, you can see here displacement, sudden uh, change in the lithology. This is something, and then change is there. Here some pattern is there. So such kind of informations you are going to get from your remote sensing data. Like it's some kind of fold is there. And it is fold, you can see it here by seeing such kind of things, exposures, availability of exposure and other things you can see by using this remote sensing technique. So structural mapping you can do. Like here also, these are the fractures. From the top we are seeing actually. So what is happening? These fractures you can see how nicely it is there. So if I'm asking you go to the field and map this, it is a mission impossible for you, because walking through this is going to take lots of time. So this is the advantage through which you can map the structures, fractures or joint. You can see it how nicely it is coming, joints, how it is developed. So it is, you're going to map those areas. It seems like a small area, but it is very large area actually. Similarly, our structure like fold, you can see it here how it is folded. It's a close fold. I have to, if you want to say that it's a close fold, so you have to map entire area. Then you can say that it's a close fold. But by seeing from the satellite image itself, you can say it's a close fold, because from all the sides it's a closed only. And here also it's a fold. It's a syncline or anticline. We'll do in a field. But through seeing this, you can say yes, it is your fold. So very easily you can map the area. Alteration zones, actually alterations are again very important. Alteration means change in the mineralogy, but it can be through the metamorphism also, it can be through the hydrothermal solutions also. So through remote sensing data, mineral identification is very important. So like here, what we are seeing is almost four topo sheet. Four topo sheet means your one topo sheet is around 720 square kilometer area. So you can imagine four topo sheet means very large area. So through remote sensing in a regional picture where you have to focus in the area, that can be done through remote sensing studies. So these are the areas which we have identified different alterations using remote sensing technique. And now what we'll do, we'll go to those locations where we are getting such kind of alterations. And other than that, spectral studies are very important nowadays. Spectral studies or spectroscopy or is there genetic spectral curve of the rocks or minerals. So you can see it here. Different minerals can be differentiated based on the this spectral curve. So you can see it for the muscovite, kielinite, or it's a calcite. All are having different composition, and they're having different absorption feature at different wavelength range. And based on these absorptions, you can identify different alteration minerals or minerals. Especially if you are interested in the alteration minerals, because it can be associated with certain kind of mineralization. That's why we are interested in the alteration minerals. Okay. Then geomorphological features, as I told you, secondary type of mineralizations are basically associated with the geomorphological features. So, like your placer deposits, for that suitable sites are, buried channels, abundant meanders, or scars. So, if you have been given the task, you search buried channel or abundant meanders in an area, again, it is impossible for you. But through remote sensing data, those things can be seen. And deposits like, formed by the process of residual and supergene enrichment, like, those things can be indicated by the hills, ridges, and plateau or valleys. So these are very important geomorphological features which can be important for the mineralization point of view. So here one just I was guiding some student. So you can see it here for the placer deposit. So you can see two different years data we have studied for 1989 and 2019. So earlier this nala was flowing from this location, and after that in 19 it was flowing from here. So shifting from here to here, you can see. So these are the potential areas for us for the search or for the investigation. So like that, you can identify certain potential areas or important zones which are important for your work, like geomorphological features. These are circular features, geomorphic features actually, you can say it here. It is part of our Vajra Karur area. Vajra Karur is known for the timberline. So circular features we are focusing, and you can see it here. Very circular, small. I don't know if you are able to see in your screen or not, but these are very small dots. We can see it, and what we have seen after plotting the locations of kimberlite and lineament and all, we found that these geomorphic features are basically associated with the locations where kimberlite is already mined. So through remote sensing data, we have marked it, and if it is possible, we can directly visit to this location in the field itself. Similarly, you can see it here, Inselberg or Plateau or Mesa and Butte, all those features, if you're standing here, very huge body is there actually. You cannot map. If you're going to map also, it is going to take the time for you. So seeing through remote sensing data, you can mark it is a Mesa or it's a Butte or it's just a Plateau kind of things or it's Inselberg or what. So through remote sensing data, you can do it very easily. This is the alluvial fan. You can see it here, the Himalayan foothills. Somebody else's study is there. This is not my work. So you can see it here how it is coming, because alluvial fans are very important. It's a very fertile soil actually, because it is coming from the hills. Water is coming, and with that sediments are there. So what is happening? Because change in the speed or velocity of the river will be there, high to low, sudden change. So whatever sediments are there, that is going to deposit it there and in a fan shape. So how many fans are there developed in this area can be seen through the remote sensing data. But again, if somebody says to you that you map that, again it is going to take a time. So this one, very nicely it is coming in a satellite imagery. Similarly, paleo channels. Paleo channels you cannot demarcate if you're going to the field. Again, it is very difficult for you. But through remote sensing data, again, like here, what if we are seeing one linear feature, and in that also, what I'm able to see, there are certain vegetation patterns. So if vegetation is why in a certain pattern, because some water or moisture content is present in that, and because of that, because earlier some river was flowing through this only, there was some channel. Nowadays it is stopped. So that is shifted to some other location. But traces are there. That paleo channel signature is there. So by seeing such kind of things, you can demarcate those locations also. And like Oxbow Lake or meandering scars, like here you can see it here. Again, if you're standing here, marking these scars are very difficult for us. So remote sensing is going to contribute so many things to you, and you have to utilize it. Migratory traces, like you can see it here. Migratory traces you are able to see in area. And geomorphology, your dolins, like for the dolins are developed in a limestone terrain. So solution fits, you can see through remote sensing data or like this. Again, it's not my work. Somebody else like here because South Category area I have just shown it for your knowledge purpose only. And this is also not my work. GSI and RSC both they have worked together. So again, we can see it here for the geomorphological features, longitudinal bars or offshore studies you can do by using this remote sensing technique. And again, if you have to map this, again it is challenging for you. For the like similarly submerged reef, how it looks, watercolor and all you can see nearby area. It's a very deep, and here it's a light. And once your reef is exposed, so how it is looking actually, you can see it here. And like barrier island or lagoons, how it is developed, or where you are seeing the lagoons and all, those things can be seen through the remote sensing very easily. Similarly, your web cuts traces, like here you can see it here. Offshore islands are developed or not, or where is that is there. Those things can be seen in a remote sensing data. Other than that, geobotanical guides are very important. Once we are talking about this remote sensing data in geosciences, see, more or less, our interest is to identify certain mineralized zone. So geobotanical guides are very important. Like if any deposit is there, so there are certain things or there are certain clues where you can focus, like lack of vegetation. If any metal is there, which is not good for the vegetation growth, what will happen? In a certain area, you are going to see that there is lack of vegetation, and at the same time, adjoining area is having good vegetation. So that can be identified through the remote sensing technique. Indicator spaces, like some researchers, they have done some work, and what they found, that generally tulsi, uh, that is an indicator plant for the copper rich soil in Malanjkhand area. What they have observed, that wherever soil is having the copper value, that jungly tulsi was growing, and the area where that copper was not there, that was devoid of jungly tulsi. So such kind of things are there. You have to think over that, and these things can be seen in your satellite imagery. And physiological changes, if in a plant, if heavy high metal concentration is there, so obviously in a same area, same type of vegetation or vegetations are growing. And if because of the presence of high metal, what will happen? Physiological change will be there in a vegetation also. So that will be reflected in your remote sensing data. So like here, one just for your reference, I have shown you, like if you have the spectral curve of the area, if it's a healthy vegetation, how it should look like this, healthy vegetation. But because of some high concentration of some minerals or some metal that is introduced in a vegetation, so there are chances that instead of like this healthy vegetation, you are going to get such kind of curve, some changes in the curve you are going to see. So based on that change in the curve or the reflectance pattern, you are going to identify, yes, there are some unusual things are happening. You can go and you can see it and you can verify it. That is the geobotanical guides, and remote sensing is going to help you a lot. So other than that, drainage pattern. Again, if somebody asks you, you mark the drainage pattern in a field. So I don't know how many years you are going to take for that, but yes, it is challenging. So there are different types of drainage pattern. You have dendritic, you have release, you have parallel or annual. So because we are seeing in the synoptic view, original pictures, we are able to see. So we are able to see the drainage pattern also. And drainage is basically very useful because it is controlled by the lithology or rock or soil types of the area. So directly or indirectly, you are knowing what kind of rock is in your area actually. So I'll just show you some examples. Like this is a dendritic pattern. Here, what you are seeing is your annular or circular type of drainage pattern you are able to see. Here, what is happening? It's a radiating kind of, because it's a your dome kind of exposure is there. So water is flowing away from this. It is going to this direction, away from the top. So this is your dome. So it's a basin or domal feature that can be also identified, and it's a parallel kind of drainage. So because of some deformation, you have seen such kind of parallel drainage. Or here you can see it like your mm, parallel. We can see parallel kind of drainage is there. Similarly, you can see it dendritic and other. So such kind of information you can take from the remote sensing data. Like recently, as I told you, 13th our training program is over. So normally we are giving some assignment to the trainees actually, so that they can use the remote sensing technique for their work also. So one of the trainee participant, he has made some Dendritic pattern actually. Just see it very nicely. So it's a circular feature. If it's a circular Dendritic you're seeing, means there are chances some circular body is there. If it's a circular body, means you are able to identify it's a some plutonic or some intrusive body is there. And in intrusive also, what kind of rock is there? It's a volcanic rock is there, or simply it's a some domal body is there, or it's a basin kind of things are there. What kind of things are there? You can identify by seeing such kind of pattern also. And then is basin of you can prepare, because basin is also very important. Through remote sensing data you can prepare different basins also. And other than that, like as I was telling you, thermal remote sensing is very important. So thermal surface temperature changes, if you want to see or if you want to monitor for the certain area, that can be done with the help of remote sensing technique. Like here one example is here, because it is not my work again. I have taken from some research paper. So you just see it for Jharia coalfield, how this area is polluted, and there is some pattern actually. You can see it here. So Jharia coalfield is known to everyone. So air pollution and everything, you can see it here. Coal seams and coal seams, how it looks. All those things are there, So surface temperature study has been done. So red color is high temperature, and yellow color is showing the slightly low temperature. And we know that Jharia coal field is having some problem, that is coal is burning. So basically, by doing such kind of studies, you can take the precautionary measures where temperature is high. So there are chances that there some accident can happen. So better is that you can take the precautionary measures here. Utmost care you can take by seeing, because temperature is here. There are chances that uh, because of the coal fire or something like that, the temperature is high. So it is going to help you directly or indirectly. Other than that, this remote sensing is very useful for the regional planning and site investigations. So you can utilize it because remote sensing is giving you that option. Dam site investigation, again, some example, I have taken it from some paper only. This is not my work. So you can see it here how they are planning. And other than that, for selecting river crossing sites for bridge and pipelines, remote sensing is useful. And hydrological or and geomorphological features. Nowadays, urbanization is happening, and groundwater hydrology is very important parameters. Whenever we are seeing for the house, or we want to purchase some house for ourselves, we are more concerned about the water, because water is the most important thing for our life. So this water availability or potential area for the water is very important. So especially your water is basically controlled by your geology structures as well as your geomorphological features. So based on that, you can identify the potential areas. So through remote sensing data, you can do that studies. Similarly, terrain mapping and analysis assessment can be done through remote sensing data, like 3D and other things you can prepare for your area. Land use land cover map, especially like if you're interested, you can use this technique. I have taken this from the NLC website. And for entire area also, for entire India also you can do, or if you're interested for your area also you can do. And in a landslide studies, this land use land cover map is very useful. Infrastructure development also can be monitored through this remote sensing data. Other than that, if you want to know the slope, another information, slope is very important because it is going to give you the information about the structures of the area, like your fault or some lineament is there or fluvial terraces are there. So through remote sensing data, you can prepare the slope map of your area. Other than that, hill shades are very important, because you're able to see the 3D view of your area by using this remote sensing technique. And this data is very, it's free of cost. And for 12 MB, 15 MB data is available. And very simple technique is there. And it is going to give you so many information for your area. Your slope, your shaded relief, your structural information, drainage information. So many things you are going to get from a small data set only. And not only that, this remote sensing is very useful for the new tectonic studies. So like here, what we did actually, remote sensing data was taken and basin we have prepared, and after that we have prepared the drainage and other things. So you can see this is a main water. So your basin is symmetric or asymmetric. That is going to tell you, or there are many parameters also to calculate that your area is active or not. Uh, uh, Tectonically it's active or not, that can be calculated. So there are parameters. So if your basin is asymmetric, that is active. If it's asymmetric, there is no problem. So such kind of informations you are going to get from the remote sensing data. You can generate the contour map of your area with the simple satellite imagery. You are going to generate the contour map. Even contour maps and other things are available, but even though you can get the your contour map of your area with the simple step in the remote sensing data. Not only that, as I told you, 3D view, like this is the area. Um, 3D of the area. This is the line you can see here, and here we are seeing something. And in between what I'm seeing, it's a black color is basically drainage pattern. So it's a slope kind of thing. So it is not continuing actually. Actually, it's a syncline fold. What happened? It is exposed this side. It is exposed this side, but here it is going down. So we are not able to see it. So exposure and how it looks in your area, how structures or drainage or how your area is looking, where exposure is available, where is a plain area, all those informations you can get from remote sensing technique. Other than that, for the engineering geology, because so many parameters are there, you can utilize this remote sensing technique. Geotechnical projects, like here you can see it here, for the tunnel and other things you can utilize. uh, Drone technology nowadays, it's a very important, it's a part of remote sensing. So in a private sectors, I think builders and other organizations, they're using it actually. So drone technology is very useful, see, for the building survey in the sense, if it's under construction, so those things can be monitored. So for the building surveys, construction site inspection, maintenance inspections, project progress, everything, we are standing at a one location, but you are monitoring entire area by this drone technology. And health and safety instructions also can be monitored through the area, your drone technology. Nowadays, we have heard that pizza and some medicine was uh, given through the drone technology only, because in a northeastern area, I heard that drone technology was used for the providing medicines in remote areas actually, because it was difficult to reach there. And in Hyderabad city itself, we heard that some medicine during this lockdown period, especially when corona was there, that time this drone technology was used to deliver the medicines and other things. So that is basically, these are the technologies, and they are remote sensing technology, and very useful for not only for the mineral exploration point of view or geosciences point of view, but also for our daily life also, it is helping us a lot. So landslide studies, you can see it's from the Google Earth only. I wanted to show you how we are monitoring through remote sensing data. So this is the area before landslide and after landslide, how it happened. So such kind of monitoring can be done through remote sensing. And not only that, if any area today it's not active for the landslide studies, but in future there are chances that a landslide can happen. So those things, traces of landslide is there. So prehistoric informations you can get from the remote sensing data itself. So these are the prehistoric landslide, means there is something, but since long time it was not happened. So this landslide studies can be done, and because you can see these are the water body actually, and if it is blocking this water body, is really problematic for us. So such kind of studies can be done through remote sensing data, ground deformation and tectonic studies. See, nowadays microwave remote sensing is there. So surface deformation is very important. If some area is having some subsidence or some upliftment is happening in ground deformation is happening in certain areas, so that can be monitored, that can be studied through remote sensing data itself. And disaster studies, as I told you, very useful in a disaster management and mitigation, because it is going to give you so many things. Like last year, it happened, in the month of February. It is Chamoli area, this glacial breast was there. So on 6th February, you can see nothing was there, but on the 7th February, there was something. So such kind of things, time to time, you can monitor, you can take the precautionary measures and other things by using remote sensing technique itself. And not only that, see, chain detection studies are very important. Like here, in 84, you can see it here, this is the southeastern elbow of Cape Coast, and how it was there. And suppose you, if you want to study today, and if you go here, what was there earlier, it is very difficult for us to establish. But through remote sensing data, you can see what are the changes which happened with the time actually. So you can see it here. There is change here, and this part also you can see these are the new changes. This is the development. All those things are the changes which happened with the time. So in 84 it was like this, now in 2019 it happened like this. So these are the informations which we can monitor to the remote sensing data itself. Other than that, volcanic eruptions monitoring is also very important. So you can see it here, volcanic eruption is there, and lava flow direction. You can see it is going in this direction and this direction also. So your evacuation and your rescue measures can be taken accordingly if you are monitoring. And this is also your volcanic eruption. It's the ash, you know. So this ash is very dangerous when we are talking for the volcanic eruption, because we have the flight. So we are traveling from one country to another country, and suppose it is flowing with the wind, you know, in the same direction, and some flight is passing through that area. There are chances of getting accident, because our engine of the air, our flight is outside only. So these ashes are having some glassy material, small glass particles are there in that. So there are chances if it is going to that engine, accident might happen. So monitoring of this eruption is very important, and that can be done only through the remote sensing data. It is not only this we are monitoring. In fact, we are monitoring the direction of the wind also, from which direction to which direction it will go, from which country to which country it is going. All those things are basically monitored through the remote sensing data. And other than that, I hope it is clear to everyone. Other than that, we are using remote sensing data in agriculture. Actually, if you go to the literature, you'll find so many research papers on agricultural studies. Actually, very nicely it is being used. Forest mapping and monitoring, see, if any forest is having some fire problem, so monitoring and evacuation and your if you want to do some means your mitigation, if you want to do something, that is very difficult, because forest is a large area, and which direction it is going, monitoring is very difficult. But through remote sensing data, you can see it, like forest fire, how it is happening. So it's kind of forest and other things, you can see it here you can see location and all those things, and direction. If air wind direction is this direction, the chances that your fire will go in this direction only. So accordingly, all the possible measures can be taken through monitoring through remote sensing technique itself. And you will be surprised that surface sea temperature and other things are basically that is also monitored by the remote sensing data itself. As I told in the beginning itself, that remote sensing data is very useful for not only for our geosciences applications. So many applications are there. So you can see it here in a particular, this equator part is there. So in the equator part, temperature is high, but if you go to the poles, temperature is low because of the Arctic and Antarctic regions. So blue is low temperature, and red or yellow color or orange color is a high temperature, and that can be monitored. If any change is there or something is there, so those things can be monitored. Other than that, chain detection in flooding, so how much area is affected by the flood, that can be monitored. You can just see it, how much area. So not only you can monitor, but also you can calculate how much area, how many people are affected by such kind of flood and all in your area. And inundation, like in a Chennai it happened, so rescue operations and other things can be done through remote sensing data. If before rain, what was the condition in the city, and after rain, what are the areas where water was inundated. So such kind of things can be done through your remote sensing data. And not only that, this wildland fire, like it is I think what 2020 data set is that. And there was discussion that this Amazon is having this fire, forest fire and other things. People were so worried And once the satellite imagery has come to the in a public platform, so what was found that this our Africa is facing much problem than this Amazon. So you can see these red areas are the areas where fire problem was there. Not only that, Madagascar, you can see almost entire Madagascar is facing the was facing the same problem, and here also. So here it is not only going to give the information, but also how much area is affected and which one is affected, much more affected. That can be seen through the remote sensing data. Similarly, flood damage to standing crops and other things can be calculated. Like you can see here, these are the crops, and after flood, how much areas and your crops are your affected by that damage was there. That can be done through the remote sensing studies. Infrastructure development. See, this is the image again I took from some internet. It's a Delhi and nearby area. Just see it in a 80s, what was the condition of Delhi and adjoining area. This is our Delhi, this is your Ghaziabad, no, not it's a Ghaziabad, and this one is your Bahadurgarh, Gurgaon, your Faridabad, and Noida. Ghaziabad, Noida, Faridabad, your Gurgaon. Today is a Gurugram. Just see it. In 80s, what was the condition of Delhi, and today just see it. This is Delhi or Ghaziabad, पूरा भर गया है. Noida, you see it. Faridabad extension, you can see it all. And Gurugram, you just see it. Gurugram में कोई दिखता भी नहीं था 80s में. Today you just see it. And not only that, this river also, you just see it. It was flowing like this. Now it is see in 2018, it has changed the course and everything. So how much area or what are the infrastructure which were developed with the time, those things can be monitored through the remote sensing data. And not only that, this is the data again for some same area for Akshardham area for Delhi. Before lockdown, what was the condition, and after lockdown, what was the condition? Like here, you can see it here. Whatever small dots you are seeing white color, that is totally vehicle in a road or on road actually. And you will see the same thing in here. You just see totally deserted. दिल्ली में आप इस तरीके का रोड देख रहे हो, मीन्स इट्स रियली सरप्राइजिंग things for us. So before lockdown and after lockdown, what was the condition? That also was we were able to identify. And what are the changes, if anything is available? It is not like it totally deserted, but some vehicles we can see it here. But normal days, how it was. So such kind of informations you can see, you can monitor, and you can identify through remote sensing technique. And see heat waves in India. We are facing heat waves, especially in North India, and North India, especially Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh, Bihar. We are facing so many problems. In South India also. So orange is basically high temperatures. So those things can be. Today it's okay. Tomorrow heat waves can come out after 2 days or 4 days. There will be heat waves. So such kind of alerts are being generated by the meteorological departments, so that you can be safe. Weather monitoring also, you just see it, how we are doing this weather monitoring. And earlier days, our we all are knowing that our east coast is most affected by the cyclone and other things particularly. So nowadays, number of your cyclones are more, but damage of property and life is less, because nowadays everything is monitored through the remote sensing data, and we are able to calculate the speed and coast where it is going to strike. All those things can be calculated, before time. If something is starting from here, that what speed it is going to reach and where it is going to reach. Accordingly, government is taking the measures. They are evacuating the areas. They are taking the precautionary measures and everything. And we are monitoring the your weather condition and everything. Here also you can see it in 2018, unusual monsoon season. Sometimes we are getting the alerts, red alert, orange alert. Like Hyderabad city, in the month of July, there was alert, red alert was there, because heavy rain was there. Continuously 4 5 days there was raining only. Unusual behavior of the season. So you can just see it. It's a just example like unusual monsoon season. Here in 2018, it was like that. In 2019, you can see the unusual behavior of the same month, same time, same month, but year change. So unusual behavior of the monsoons can be monitored through the remote sensing data itself. So other than that, this defense and military purpose, we are using this remote sensing technique like your coastal surveillance. because we are sleeping, but how those areas are monitored, coastal areas especially, or our Himalayan areas, how we are able to monitor those things. So this remote sensing data, thermal, if you know that thermal scanning is done, thermal remote sensing is very important. And change in temperature in a night, how we will see the object. There is no chance to see the object if it's a totally dark. So change in the temperature, that is the main thing. So temperature can be seen through the remote sensing technique. And not only that, if any activity is being done on our border area, so those things are basically monitored through the remote sensing. So directly or indirectly, this remote sensing is helping us in this for our safety and security of our country. And these are the remote sensing data you can see, which we are commonly using actually, like Sentinel, Lancet, Esther, or them, or Hyperion, or Averis, or Esther, Lancet. Lancet having different series of data sets, 7, 8, like that, 8, 9. And IRS, India Remote Sensing Satellite, 1A, 1B, 1C, like that. We have several data sets which are available. So if you want to get some data, and if you want to do something in remote sensing field, what you can do, you can utilize this remote sensing data. These are the website you can go and you can search it. For Indian remote sensing satellite, you can go our NRSC website, you can visit. Bhuvan is there. Landslide, you can go to Landslide website, and Esther is also having one website. So you can visit this website, and it's just free of cost data actually. You can register yourself and you can get the data. Like this is our one website. So many data sets you can get from there. And USGS you can visit. Earth data is there. ESA is there. For microwave data, you can visit this ESA. And Esther and microwave data, you can use this Earth data website. And see, there are so many processing softwares, ADAS, NV, or ArcGIS. These are basically paid software. So for the students, it's difficult for you. But you can try GraphGIS or QGIS softwares, which is available for the students. And it's available in a website, any website. You can search it, you can download, and you can process. So GraphGIS is basically for the image processing, and QGIS is like GIS. So if you want to prepare some map, you can utilize such data sets. Or see, when we are talking about the remote sensing, we are having very simple processing technique. Very simple processing technique, but how you are applying, that is important. So normally, false color composite, principal component analysis, or classification like supervised, unsupervised classification we are applying. Except for the beginners, or just if you're starting the things. Afterwards, there are so many things. And then modeling is there. Uh, you can do some advanced level processing techniques and all. Many things are there. But for the beginners like you, or if you want to know something, so these are the very basic techniques which you should know. And these are very useful techniques. It is going to give you so many informations to you. And if you are interested to read the books, or if you want to know more about the remote sensing techniques, so these are the books, you can refer them. And I hope it will be useful for you, and you can learn so many things. And thank you very much for your attention. And if any doubt, any question is there, you can ask me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nisha. It was a very informative talk, and I believe my students gained some knowledge. Of course, it is a very specific expertise इसमें ज़रूरत है. आगे अगर वो pursue करेंगे तो और उनको फायदा होएगा. But yes, the basics and the particularly the wide applications of remote sensing, which you just covered very beautifully. And of course, it is very tough. So many applications to cover in 1 hour lecture, and you give almost overview of every application and in general about remote sensing also. Now I think the students, it is open to you. Ask as many questions as you can, and you can even later on also contact her for your queries. Okay, so just over to you, students.
Yes, actually, that's why scientists are worried because so many debris are there. You have seen that. So you just imagine okay, how much dangerous that is. If suppose some asteroid is also coming, and by mistake it's striking to the satellite, it is going to create a trouble for us because any particle is coming to the surface of the Earth, it can strike anywhere. We cannot control that. So it is really trouble for us. So I think scientists are working on that, and in future we'll get the some solution for that.
और भाई, और नहीं कोई कुछ पूछेगा? ये सब बाद में आपको ट्रेनिंग के लिए पकड़ने वाले हैं मैडम.
अच्छा है, most welcome.
So I think with this, then we can conclude, and I just would like to thank Mr. Akshay, who handled it very beautifully. He's in general in charge on behalf of students, and we are also thankful that the AAPG committee members, all who are involved in this, and the students who joined it. And on behalf of our Honorable Vice Chancellor and Chairperson, sir, we just thank you, Dr. Nisha, for providing us your valuable time. And Akshay, can we have in general a photograph, or that will be done from the video? So we can just अपनी वीडियो ऑन कर लीजिए, हम एक फोटोग्राफ ले सकते हैं, है ना? अनम्यूट मत करिए, बट वीडियो ऑन कर लीजिए, है ना? सो दैट वी कैन हैव अ फोटोग्राफ with Dr. Nisha, our resource person. It is not easy to get her time. I'm her very good friend also, I think, because we know each other from IIT Roorkee. At that time, we enrolled for PhD together. So that must be the reason that she gave me this favor.
Luckily, you have approached me at right time because up to last Saturday it was very hectic for me. So somehow I got this time, and by next month again there is some training program continuously up to March.
Yes, yes, I am aware you have lots of training, national and international programs keep going, and that is the reason. But chaliye. So we can, I think, go for the photograph, Akshay.
So I hope all the students they were benefited because they are not interacting, but I do hope so. Because mostly I'm trying to keep very simple lecture actually so that they can understand and not much complicated because once I'll enter in the remote sensing typically, so most probably they will sleep. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye. All the best.
So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Seema, and thank you very much all the students. I hope in future if anything is there, you can contact me. So once again,
thank you,
okay,
ma'am.
thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye. Take care. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.